Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the SmithSquad Podcast. The Smith Squad. Today, this is episode 13, 13th on a Friday. For some reason, that made me think it was Friday the 13th, but then I realized it was the 11th, so it's all good. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but hey, what's up? I just woke up, and I'm ready to do this podcast all by ourselves today, rocking it solo. Just me and my lonely little voice, which is weird that I can actually do this. A lot of people, including myself, are surprised that I can just talk straight for an hour. And I think it's just as a YouTuber, you kind of get good at talking to yourself. And when you just lengthen out the time, it's just kind of the same thing, but longer. So it's not too bad. But hey, everybody, and welcome. This is very unprofessional, but I like doing it unprofessional because if I do it, hello, everybody. Like I kind of almost like I do in my normal videos, if you know what I mean. Like, my normal videos I make, it's very like, what's going on, guys? It's kind of like exciting to start things off, but it feels very unprofessional. And I try to divert away from that a little bit. I've been trying to lately. I'm not sure what the angle I want to go to is. I'm going to feed my fish right now as I do this. See, look at that unprofessionalism. But it's just kind of like, I just want to say, hey, everybody, what's up? Just, hey, man, how's it going? Hello, folks at home. I don't know. It just seems a little more personal, and I like to keep it personal because you guys are pretty awesome and a very big part of me. Last week we had Eddie the Chump on the podcast, and you guys had very good feedback for him. He was a great guest, a very, very good talker, and had a lot to say. So that was a really interesting time. I like that. But now comes the time for we need more people on the show. So basically, I just wanted to sort of say right out the gates, guys, if there's anyone who you think would be a good fit on the show, they don't have to be someone I know. Oh my God, wow, that just rhymed like triple, and I didn't even try. Well, it kind of rhymed. I rhymed no, show, and no. So anyways, if there's somebody out there that you would like to see on the podcast, hit them up. Hit me up, and go to Twitter. Hit me up, hit them up. Say like, hey, at this person, I think you should be on at TheSmithPlays podcast. Go do that up. And if there's someone that you think is good, like I said, I don't have to know them. It doesn't have to be like Adam or Dave or anyone else who appears regularly on my channel. But just any YouTuber that you think is an interesting human being that has something to say, has something interesting about them that you could talk about, like, for example, Eddie. I really wanted him on because he's self-employed. But just anyone, not anyone. Don't go asking Syndicate because I doubt he'd be interested, and he really doesn't have much to gain from it. But, if there's someone out there that's like, whatever, right? If there's someone out there who is, I don't know, like however many subscribers, let's say nothing over like 200,000, because I think that'd be pretty hard to pull. But even under 200,000, and most YouTubers still read all their tweets, so let's just say cap it at 250,000. But yeah, if there's anyone out there that you'd like to see on the podcast, just go tweet at them. Tweet me in the tweet so they know who it is. But for real, like I am interested in meeting new people. And although there's some people I still want to contact and get out to, and some friends I still want to have on, I'm always interested to just get new people on, talk to them, all that stuff. And I figured I'd let you guys get a little feedback into that. Get your input, see if you want. Also, go ahead and comment down below if that's good too. But if you tweet, you're gonna have a better chance of making that happen, because then the other YouTuber will see it and they'll go, like, oh, who's this guy? And if you just do it down there, then I have to reach out, and trust me, it's really weird when you reach out to a YouTuber, ask them to do something if you've never met them before. Like, I don't care. I do it all the time. I'm like, hey, I don't know you, but would you like to do this with me? Like, I think that's exactly what I said to Eddie. No, Eddie, I was like, hi, you make good videos, and you are interesting and make good videos. Would you like to come on my podcast? Like, I think that's something like that. You just got to have no shame about it and just say, hey, man, I like your content. Hey, man, I think you're an interesting guy. Or just, hey, man, do you want to come on my podcast? That's just got to be upfront about it. Or just be like, hey, I don't know you, but I think you're cool. Want to come on? And that's what's so great about the internet is, we can just do that. A 31-year-old can have a conversation with an 18-year-old. An 18-year-old can have a conversation with a 14-year-old. It's really, really interesting how that's all changed. It was very uncommon 10, 20 years ago and forever beyond that you would really sit down and talk to someone that much older than you. And even there's not many scenarios where you will have an hour conversation with someone just about stuff. It's very uncommon. I can't think of many. I can think of like one that just comes to the top of my mind in the last year that hasn't been through the podcast, where I've just sat down with someone who I didn't know. Well, not sat down, actually, we stood up, but it was actually at work. I had a conversation with a guy about business, and he kind of changed my mind a little. He changed my world a little bit because I didn't know about the world of business and getting income, passive income, where you're just making money because your money's kind of making you money, weird things like that. I didn't really know much about that and investing and all that stuff. And he really, oh, excuse me. Isn't that the worst? I didn't want to start this podcast because I knew I had a burp, and there it comes. But no, it's very, very rare that you're going to go out and just have a random podcast with, or not podcast, but podcast type conversation where you're just really interested, you're learning, and you don't even know that person. That is a very uncommon thing, and that's why I started the podcast. 100% why I started this podcast was not for views, right? I only get like 500 to 1,000 views on this. It was all just for me. It really was for me. This was a selfish thing, I gotta say. This was all a very, very selfish thing indeed. But yeah. So if there's anyone else you want to see out there, go ahead, tweet them. I like people. I'm not the most social guy, but I feel like I can be a pretty mature guy for my age anyways. I understand that I'm 18, and even the difference talking to a 31-year-old to 18-year-old, I could tell, like, oh yeah, I'm definitely a lot, immature compared to Eddie, and even other people I've had on who are older than me. But it's all good. It's all good, and yeah, there's a lot of people I want to get on this podcast, and there's a lot of people I've already had on that I want to get on again. But I feel like it's weird. Like I really want to get Yoon on again. I had a great conversation with him. I want to get Dave on again. I want to get Adam on again because we just have awesome conversations. I want to get Aiden on again. Like there's so many people, and you just don't have those conversations in real life, which is something I think the world is lacking a little bit. And why I started this was just I wanted to have cool freaking conversations. And hey, if I can make a little money off this, that'd be cool. Actually, we'll just say it right now. If you want to sponsor the show, hit me up on Twitter down in the description. If you have a YouTube channel, let's go $10. $10 to sponsor the show. Boom, right there. Just drop that in. I just thought that off the top of my head. I don't know if $10 might be a little. Nah, $10 would be a good amount. $10, go for it. I'd sponsor you. Oh man, you know what I'm drinking right now? As I slurp. I'm drinking a cup of joe. That's right. I am drinking coffee, ladies and gentlemen. I am an adult. I am an American. I don't know why I'm saying Americans drink coffee. Well, Americans obviously do drink coffee, but Canadians drink a butt ton of coffee. Debatably more than Americans. Trust me. We are very into our coffee. But I don't know who drinks more. It doesn't matter. Coffee. So what day was this? I think this was Wednesday. It's Friday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. I drank coffee before my morning workout. I went to the park with my friend, and there's this really, really long stairs. They call it Jacob's Ladder. It's so steep, and but it's actually stairs. It's like 200 steps, 211, I think, or 178, something like that. So really, really long. And we ran up that a couple times. We did it like 4 times. And then there's like pull-up bars at the top. So we had a really badass morning workout. But we got up early to do it because it's funny. For anyone who works out, working out in the morning sucks. But when you work out in the morning, you're like an instant badass. Like if you wait till like 1 o'clock to go do your workout, you're kind of like an average person. But man, if you wake up at 7 to do the exact same workout you would have done at 1, you're so much more badass and you're getting so much more done. I know that doesn't make sense, and it's not supposed to make sense because it doesn't, right? If you do the exact same workout at 7 in the morning versus 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or even 7 o'clock at night, it's the exact same workout, and you're even more likely to injure yourself in the morning because you're not warmed up, or you're less warmed up. But I don't care. It's just a mental thing. It's a mental thing. You say, oh yeah, it's like a mental toughness thing. You're waking yourself up early, and I don't even have anything to train for anymore, but I just like to train, keep my body healthy, basically, and look aesthetic, I guess. But anyways, I went for a morning workout in the park, and I was like, man, I'm really tired. And my first thought was, I'm gonna go get some G Fuel because I really like G Fuel, Gamma Labs G Fuel. I find it helps, but my thing with G Fuel is it doesn't give you energy. It's like if you had like an energy scale. It will take you back to being normal, but it won't put you from normal to energized, if that makes sense. If you've ever had G Fuel, because people take it like expecting it to be a pre-workout, like, oh, this stuff's I should get them to sponsor the show. That'd be sick, but I'm sure they won't. It's such it's not like a pre-workout where you go from normal to feeling energized and ready to work out. If you ever taken that, it's not like coffee, same kind of scenario. It's more like you're in the negative zone of energy. You're tired, and it's gonna get you back up to feeling normal, or maybe a little touch of energy. But it's not gonna put you from normal to energized. It's only gonna go from tired, fatigued, up to normal, which is a very key difference for most stimulants, most energy supplements or drinks. And I wasn't feeling it because I wasn't like, oh, I'm tired, I want to wake up. I was like, no, I need energy. And I don't have any pre-workout because it's not that I think that stuff's dangerous, which I do think it's dangerous. I just don't care. But I don't know. I just don't really like it, and I don't want to spend like $50 on stuff I hardly ever use. So went with the coffee. And normally when I drink coffee, I drink it black, okay? I'm not a pussy because, well, now I am a pussy because here's my thought process. The last 10,000 years, people have been drinking coffee. It's a very popular drug of choice, if you want to put it that way. And I don't know. I just think that it's the right way to do it. If people have been having it for like that for a long time, that's how I should probably have it. Like, it's healthy for you if you do it that way. It's very, very good for you. Coffee. A lot of people think it's bad for you because it's like caffeine is bad for you for some reason. But no, coffee on its own, coffee block is actually very good for you, which people don't often realize. It's just when you add like 4 tablespoons of sugar, bunch of milk. Even the milk's not really that bad for you, but I mean, milk is milk. But it's when you add all the sugar to it, you get your whipped cream on the top, your sprinkles, your white peppermint mocha from Starbucks. That's when it starts to get bad. That's when it goes from being a really good beverage with all these antioxidants and being a stimulant, which kind of helps you get awake or be energized, to really fatty, really bad for you. So, I'm sorry. I'm really a proponent of drinking it black when I do drink it. Now, I don't drink coffee very often because when I drink coffee, it makes my stomach upset. Now, it only makes my stomach upset when I don't work out or I don't do something with that energy. So, example, one day I had like 3 tests in a day. So I took coffee in the morning. First test, just killed it. Had so much energy. Things were great. Second test, exact same thing. Third test was in the afternoon, and I didn't like do that bad on it, but I felt horrible because it wasn't actually, might have been a quiz. But anyways, the point is coffee, I get really supercharged from coffee, and then it just kills me. And I heard on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think he had a guy about coffee on. They just mentioned something about fats being in it, and like if there's fats in the coffee, it'll kind of make the stimulant last a little bit longer, not be such a sharp peak where it just goes up, boosts you up, and then drops you back down. It's not like that. It's more like a kind of up and a down. And there's like natural coffees you can get, but I was like, oh, I don't have these natural coffees. I just have some like freaking Keurig ass stuff. So I just went with like, some milk. So I just put some milk in my coffee, went off to do my workout, and all that was good. But here's the thing. is I didn't get upset because I was like, oh, well, I worked out. So like I said, normally if I work out, I drink coffee black, I'm fine. I don't do it that often, but if I need a boost or I know it's going to be a crazy workout, I'll drink a cup of coffee. But that workout, I was like, I'm just scared because like last time I drank coffee, I had this horrible like hangover from it. So I was just kind of like not wanting to feel that. It's like, all right, well, let's try adding milk to it. Plus it's really hot. I don't want to hurt myself. Let's just put some milk in it. And it went down a lot easier, I gotta say. I got a nice little boost from it, no drop off or anything. So that was good. And today, I'm recording this podcast. I haven't eaten anything yet, and I was kind of the same scenario where I just woke up and I want to do this podcast well. And I was like, you know what, a stimulant will probably help us here. You know, I don't need some Adderall or anything, but hey, I don't know. I'm just thinking that this coffee might give us a little boost, might help us. So here I am on my second cup of coffee as I consume this beverage. Now, when I went for the second cup of coffee, as crazy as it sounds, my second cup in 3 days, I got scared for a second because I'm very, very cognizant, I guess, very aware of drugs. Okay, I don't know what it is, but it's going to sound bad, but I love drugs. I love vitamins. I love supplements. I love drugs that affect the body. To me, it's the most fascinating topic. Things that just change your natural body. And everything's drugs. You know, you have drugs in your brain to help you be happy. You have drugs in your brain to make you wake up. You have drugs in your brain to make you go to sleep. All that kind of stuff. And I find the topic so interesting. You may have heard, when I had Aiden on, which I might mention a little bit later, I had Aiden on the podcast, and he's very into consuming drugs. And you know, we had a big old conversation about like psychedelic drugs, which I've never done, but I find so fascinating because it's like, whoa, this isn't as bad as people say it is. Whoa, you're saying like people have been depressed and they've taken, you know, like mushrooms, and it's helping them stopping with these negative feelings, and you say it's helped your life, the way you look at things. Like, whoa, that's so interesting. Even like really hardcore drugs like crystal meth, I find interesting. I read a book called Tweak about a guy who becomes a meth addict. Really just fascinating to me. It's not that I want to do crystal meth. I mean, I've never even smoked pot, to be honest, but very, very interested, and I am very open to drugs. That being said, I'm also very, very cognizant, I guess. So when I had the second cup of coffee, I was like, oh shit, am I going down this road? Am I going to do this? Am I going to go down this road where I need a cup of coffee every day to get me going, to do my thing? That's my thing with people, okay? People don't think coffee's a drug. They don't look at it as a drug, and it's a very ignorant way of looking at things, okay? I don't know if I said this on the podcast before, but okay. You have someone, I don't know, let's say a teacher, let's say whatever, someone you know, and they wake up and the first thing they think about in the morning is this drug. And they need it, and they go to the shower, and once they're out of the shower, they just go and they take that drug, and it really helps them throughout the day, but they gotta take more so that it doesn't wear off, and they take it pretty much every day. That sounds like a freaking addict. If you say that drug's meth, you say that, well, obviously meth, but if you say that drug is like alcohol, like Xanax, like any sort of opiate, weed, anything, it's like, oh my God, this guy's addicted. But you never really think about that with coffee. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just having a cup of coffee. Well, no, you're taking drugs, okay? You're doing caffeine. Don't put it like, oh, I just like the taste of coffee, which actually it is much better, I gotta say, with milk. I'll be honest with that. But don't sugarcoat it like, oh, I'm just having a cup of coffee. No, you're not. You're taking drugs to make you feel better, okay? And that's what it is. I'm not saying it's bad. If it makes you more productive, if it makes you enjoy your job better, I think it's good that our society is cool with that. I think our society should be cool with a lot more drugs, specifically psychedelics and marijuana. Now that I look at things logically, I think it's crazy that those things are illegal, which I want to get to in a sec. But coffee is a weird one because I like that it's so socially acceptable, but I just think it's weird that people don't look at it. The problem is it's socially acceptable, because of ignorance in a way, because people don't look at it like, oh, you're doing drugs because you're relying on this drug to help you get through your day. Which I'm not relying on the drug, but it's supplementing the podcast. It's making it a little better because I feel a little bit more energized, and it's making my mouth really watery, which I don't really like. But it is a drug, and you have to look at it like, yes, this is a drug, and I'm not just drinking coffee because I want to drink coffee. No, I'm drinking it because I need energy, and people need to look at it like that. It's socially acceptable because the form you take it in, because it's a drink. You put your milk in, you put your sugar in, and you consume it like that, which is kind of the same way alcohol is. But really, coffee is a drug, and you got to look at it like that. But you see, like what I was saying was it's socially acceptable. How do I say that? It's socially acceptable, but it's because it's ignorance. It's like, we look at it like, yeah, you're having a cup of coffee. Whereas if you're taking it in pill form, like my friend Aiden does, it's like, oh, you're doing drugs, so you're depending on it. But it's just this weird thing. But I think people should understand that it is a drug, but still be as open to coffee as they are. Like yesterday, my boss offered me drugs yesterday at work. He said, you want a cup of coffee? He offered me drugs. Okay? Is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. And it's good that that's acceptable. But we should think about it in that way. We shouldn't just say, oh, coffee, yeah, okay, oh, cup of coffee, sure, oh yeah, sure, it'll get you going. No, it is a drug. It's not that much of a detrimental drug. No one really, people definitely get affected by drugs, but it's not that bad. But my worry, like I kind of started this off with this morning, was, it's like, man, am I going to get on this road where I need it every day? Because like I said, I'm very aware of that it's a drug, and I'm not looking at it like, oh, this is just a drink. It's like, okay, am I responsible enough that, I'm not going to need this every day, because I don't want to have to depend on anything every day. Yes, I think coffee is a great source when you need it. I think caffeine, but I don't think it's something that I want to take every day and have to depend on it. If I don't get it in the morning, I feel like shit because my body is chemically dependent on it. That's the thing. You can be psychologically addicted. That's one thing. That's kind of it's a lot more than mental toughness, but look at it, it just, putting it lightly, it is just mental toughness. And I'm not saying that it's that easy, but if you really look at it, it technically is just how tough are you mentally. You have to be very freaking tough to beat some physical or psychological addictions. But I don't want to be chemically addicted to anything. And that's my thing, is like, I don't want to start taking this like every day for 14 days or so, whatever. I don't know how long it takes you to get addicted to coffee. And then be like, oh, I need it. And then I'm like, addicted to this. My body needs it. I don't want that to happen. I'm sure it probably take like a long time for coffee, but I don't want that. And I think that's a really good thing that I'm so aware of even such a minor drug like caffeine, that I'm concerned about getting addicted to that. Because like I said, I'm very interested in drugs, but I'm also very aware of the problems drugs can cause. It's like the only really like mind-altering kind of drug I take is alcohol. Not that I think it's the only one people should take, but it's just my specific scenario. It's the only one I've really wanted to take, I guess. So like I drink, maybe every, I guess average probably 2 weeks or so, 2 to 3 weeks. Like I don't drink that much. Most of my friends, like most people, I'd say in high school, probably drink every 2 weeks, maybe every weekend. But I just, the way I am, I don't like to go out every weekend. But when I do, I like to kind of go hard, which is probably even worse for you because you have all that alcohol in your system at once. But even alcohol, like I when I first started looking at it, I was very like, okay, not even when I first, because the first time I drank was like grade 10, but as I got a little bit into it more, like not into it, but a little bit more understanding of it and stuff, like probably grade 11 in even this year, I was like, okay, let's look at this objectively. Okay, so this is a drug that, I'm doing, but is it something, is it something I think I can control? And alcohol is a very bad one. A lot of people get addicted to alcohol. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the coffee burps, man. I'm having coffee burps. But is it something that I think I can control? And a lot of people say with alcohol, you're either an alcoholic or you're not. And if you're an alcoholic, you have to control that. And you really shouldn't drink too much. There's those people who just become a totally different person. And I think I see, because I'm not this big old expert, but I have drank quite a few times. I don't know, 50 times maybe in my life. That seems, I don't know if that's a lot. I've been drinking for probably 3 years. I have no idea how many times I've drank, but I have been to my limits and much beyond them. And I feel like I'm not that type. And even if I was that type, even if I am that type, I don't think I could ever become addicted to alcohol because I get hungover very easily. I don't know what it is. It's not physical hangovers that get me. It's mental. I don't know what it is. I can drink and I wake up in the morning and you feel bad. The thing I found with alcohol is it pushes everything out of your system, right? It just pushes everything out, all the vitamins, all the nutrients, everything in your body. And if I drank a lot that night, I wake up the next morning, my body feels sapped. It feels zapped. It's not the worst feeling, but I just feel stunned. I feel zapped. I feel very uncoordinated, unbalanced. Let's get some water and some vitamins into me. But the thing that alcohol does to me, which a lot of people I know it doesn't happen to, is it'll start at about 4 or 5 o'clock the next day after I've drank. So, they say, hangovers last, a really bad hangover will last till 3 o'clock. Well, physically it will, but for some reason, at least with me, I get depressed if it doesn't happen all the time, but it will happen the day after I drank, and if I hang out by myself all day. So it's this no interaction with people, feeling shitty all day, and there's just some lacking of chemical in my brain, and I get really sad. So I kind of try to make it a thing that I hang out with people the next day and I take my mind off feeling hungover. But there's something in me that when I drink the next day, there's a chance I'm just gonna feel very depressed, which is kind of another reason why I don't like to drink a lot. Damn, coffee's done. Just did some caffeine, bro. I need a drink of water now. But yeah, there's just something that most of my friends don't have. I have some friends that can drink as much as they want. They won't get hungover. And some people would say that's a blessing. I think it's a curse because it means you're going to drink a lot more. And alcohol's not good for your body. Like I said, you wake up and your body just feels zapped of everything. Just feels so zapped of life and just anything. And that's not good. That's not good for you. All your nutrients are gone. So that's really why I think I kind of like the fact that I'm like that I can't drink a lot because, well, I can drink a fair amount when I'm drinking, but I can't drink consistently because, I just feel bad. And not oh, well, yeah, you took 12 shots, you deserve to be bad. But even if I have let's say 3 drinks in a night, sometimes I'll feel bad actually. For the first time in my life, this year, 2 weeks ago, I drank a fair amount and I wasn't hungover at all. And it was the first time I ever drank light beer. I drank I think 10 light beers in an 8-hour span. So I was never drunk, but I drank a lot of beer and I was I don't know what's going to happen. I've never done this before. I'm more of a hard liquor guy. I just like vodka, gin, that light stuff. Not light, but light colored stuff, and that'll usually get me the next day. But I drank a whole bunch of light beer throughout the day, from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 12 at night. So really, I was just kind of buzzed the whole time. I woke up the next day fine. First time in my life I wasn't hungover at all. My body felt absolutely fine, and I usually will feel something the next day, even if I hardly drank a little bit. I'll usually feel something. But interestingly enough, that day, as the day wore on, 5 o'clock at night, I felt it a little bit, that kind of little sadness. but it went away really quickly. So that was the first time in my life I could say I drank without being hungover, like a decent amount. Like I can have a beer, I can have probably two, I'll feel fine. But anything over that, and it just gets me. And I like that about myself because I don't think alcohol is something that, you should do to excess, because it is so bad for you. And it's so weird because it's the most socially acceptable drug that gets you, that alters your mind a lot. Like caffeine, it makes you more alert, basically. That all it does is mental alertness. It doesn't actually energize you. It just gives you mental alertness. But alcohol is definitely the most popular mind-altering substance. Or it's depressant, whatever. But you can't say alcohol doesn't alter your mind, People who are sober don't like piss in front of 200 people. You know what I mean? You just don't care. But where was I going with this? Basically, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's really bad for you. Alcohol is just it's a toxin, right? Like it goes through your liver. Your liver has to deal with it. And from that sense, it's really weird that it's such a popular drug compared to other things which really aren't near as bad. See, I don't want to be like this big proponent of drugs, but like, for example, I think, like I said, I've never smoked marijuana. I think that I don't think that it's bar none absolutely better for you, but physically, see, I don't know where I stand on it. So like I said, alcohol is pretty bad. I just brought a chart up here, which I'd love to show you guys. But basically, it's active to lethal dose ratio and dependence potential of psychoactive drugs. Okay, so you got alcohol, morphine, cocaine, MDMA, mescaline, caffeine, ephedrine, nitrous oxide, marijuana, LSD, psilocybin, which is mushrooms. So you got all this stuff here, and how like I look at it is alcohol is way up there, which is so surprising. Like, it's a little bit below cocaine. Okay, so the lethal dose for alcohol. So like the active lethal dose is basically the ratio of how much it takes you to feel the drug or feel affected by the drug versus how much it takes you to get drunk. So alcohol is 0.1. So for 1/10 of what will get you buzzed, if you multiply that by 10, you'll die, right? So I don't know what, 3 shots will get you feeling pretty buzzed. 20 to 30 shots will kill you, right? Cocaine is lower. Okay, I know cocaine's a pretty bad drug. It feels like cocaine's been kind of coming up a little bit more. Hopefully I can put this on the screen for you guys. But cocaine, the active lethal dose is lower. Okay, whatever. I know. You look at alcohol. Yes, a lot of people die, but not that many compared to how many people consume it. So what you see is it's definitely, most definitely something you can control, which shows you that there's a lot of other drugs out there that, it's all about moderation. And the way we do alcohol, where, you drink this beer that's like 0.0, that's 0.5, or is 5%. I was thinking 0.05 of one. But anyways, 5% alcohol. Well, you're not really going to get drunk off that. Even 40% alcohol, I don't think I could kill myself. I really don't think I could kill myself with alcohol, because I just get happy once I start drinking. I'll be like, why would I kill myself? But then again, I guess I have to be depressed. But like alcohol, 10%, you multiply what you get buzzed by 10, you die. Okay, that's pretty high. That's a pretty high active lethal dose ratio. But it shows you that people can be very responsible. Now, yes, people die, but I would say a very low percentage of people who drink die from it. So that shows you that people are they're very good at being in control of what they take. Now, a lot of that, like I said, is because it takes a lot to get to kill yourself on alcohol because it's so much liquid in your stomach, and the way it's administered is so awful. If you put like a pint of alcohol just in your stomach, you're gonna feel pretty shitty. Well, it's gonna take like much more than a pint to kill you. Probably at least a quart if you're small, up to like a 40, which is over a liter, like a quarter of a gallon for. Well, I guess no, you Americans would know it as a quart of 40. So you get what I'm saying. So it takes a lot. If you look at like a drug like cocaine, I don't think cocaine should. Well, I think it should be decriminalized, but I don't think cocaine should be. I don't think cocaine should be legal. I don't think we should be selling cocaine. Even like I said, there has been lately a push that it's not that bad. Not like on the internet, not my circle of friends, but I don't think cocaine should really be that legal. But at the same time, like I think it should definitely be decriminalized. It's got a lower lethal dose ratio, but the dependence potential is quite a bit higher. Alcohol is moderate, cocaine is moderate to high. So that's the thing, and that's all about willpower. But there's this thing about alcohol that a lot of people say is like you kind of either are going to be an alcoholic or you're not. Like there's people in the war. And, I've heard war stories that they say, I drank every day when I was in the war. You just have rum because, it sucks so much. You just have a drink of rum. You have a couple of drinks of rum. And it kind of helps with this whole situation of I'm in a dirty hole with lice and the world fucking sucks. And then they never drink again after the war because it reminded me of the war. So I don't like drinking. I never drank much before, never drank much after. That's a big thing you hear of veterans is I never drank much before. I never drank much after, but I drank like a horse during war because it sucks so bad. So I don't know if that's 100% true, but I can see the merit that people say that alcohol is the kind of thing that is very, very genetic. I don't know if it is, but I see that argument brought up a lot. But here's my thing. I go on about drugs a lot, but I find it very interesting, so I'm just going to keep talking because it's, morphine. Look at morphine, okay? Hopefully it's up there. The lethal dose for morphine is about the same as cocaine. It's a little bit less than alcohol again, but the dependence is high. And trust me, opiates are one that it's not like, is it this person? Is it that person? No. People get very into opiates. Opiates are scary. Opiates scare. They honestly scare me. I didn't know. I used to before. I used to be like, take some of this, take some of that. You're fine. Like even codeine. But I've done a lot of research into it lately, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I mean, if I break my leg, I want some morphine, but once that leg is healing, I don't know how much I want to keep taking, because you think about it this way, man. Like, morphine is so high up there, and if you take that for like a week, well, that's basically like this crazy binge that you're going on right there, Like, what other drug? Like if you drank for a week, like that'd be pretty awful on your body. And I don't think morphine's that great for your body, but yeah, it's a painkiller. But it's not uncommon for, if you have pain, take morphine for 7 days in a row. Is that uncommon? It might even be more. Holy crap, that's a lot of drugs you're taking in there. The chances you're going to get addicted, it seems really high for what it is, okay? It seems really, really high for what it is, which scares the shit out of me, okay? I never knew that, but looking at this chart right here, you see, holy smokes, morphine's up there. It is up there. I mean, heroin's just bad. Don't do heroin, okay? Heroin and meth, those are the ones that'll get you. Don't do heroin or meth. But morphine's not that far off it. And think about how, like, people say, heroin, I tried it once, and then say, I'll try it in a month, and then, I'll try it in 2 weeks, and then suddenly I'm taking it every day. Okay, well, morphine's really not that far off from heroin. It's got a little bit lower active to lethal dose ratio. It's got a little bit lower dependence, but it's not too far off of heroin, okay? And you take that for a week? Man, that's scary. Like, okay, think about it this way. Do you think you could take heroin for a week? You take it for a week every day, or every day for a week? Would you feel like thinking about it like, oh man, I might get addicted to that? People do it with morphine all the time, and that's what I'm saying. Is like we have alcohol, which I don't understand. Like I said, it's weird that it's legal, but at the same time, people can really control alcohol. But then you have morphine, which is just up there, man. You have people taking that every day for a week. It has the potential to cause a lot of problems, is what I'm saying. The other ones I kind of wanted to talk about here, which is so interesting. I find this so just fascinating. Look where MDMA is on this scale. How many times have people told you ecstasy is this so bad thing that you're going to fry your brain, you're going to end up in a wheelchair? Because I've heard people say that they ended up in a wheelchair because they took ecstasy. Like that's a thing. War on drugs, right? It's so bad. Don't do ecstasy. Oh, wait, it's lower in both active to lethal dose ratio and dependency than alcohol? Oh, what? Oh, that's weird. Oh, well, what about compared to morphine? Oh, it's way lower in dependence and a little bit lower in lethal dose ratio? That's kind of weird. Now, I know the problem that does arise with MDMA is it gets mixed with other drugs like cocaine, meth, heroin, ephedrine, I think. Some people put that in. So it's not pure, I know. But I for some reason, I thought that you couldn't die on MDMA. Maybe. I guess obviously you can because I guess it's a stimulant. Your heart will die. But the thing is war on drugs. Drugs are bad. What's lower than alcohol and everyone drinks? So I don't know, man. I'm just looking at this objectively. I'm not saying go out and do a bunch of Molly, but objectively, you got people doing heroin 7 days in a row. MDMA is way lower, and we're the ones saying, oh, it's so bad for you. But let's take this back a whole nother level. So yeah, you have caffeine there. Not very dependent. It's a fine drug. A fine drug, people should be doing caffeine, right? Everyone does caffeine. Okay. I don't want to make this argument for marijuana because I know it's been made a million times. So I'm going to go to the bottom of the barrel here. Good old LSD and psilocybin. Psychedelics, okay? So I want you to think about this. War on drugs, right? My MDMA argument kind of makes sense, right? Like, it's a lot lower than morphine. People take that for 7 days in a row. Alcohol, you see how people drink that. You think MDMA should probably be, people should be able to control themselves on it. Let's back down here to LSD and psilocybin. The war on drugs, right? War on drugs. Drugs are bad. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. You're gonna die. You're gonna fry your brain if you try out acid or psilocybin. Oh my God! Don't do this. You're gonna die. Wait, what? Do you see how low this is? I don't think you can die on psilocybin or LSD. Like it's in the same level as weed, and it takes like 1,500 pounds of weed in like 15 minutes to kill you, or something crazy. Something like you're gonna spend $1 million and it's impossible. And I'm pretty sure that psychedelics are in that same realm there, LSD and psilocybin at least. So you're telling me all this war on drug crap, right? All this war on drug crap. Oh my God, don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't do drugs, don't do drugs. They're so bad for you. The big argument with psychedelics is it's gonna hurt your brain or whatever. But what? Dependence potential, very low. Okay, it's lower than caffeine. We drink caffeine every fucking day. Every day. There's millions of people taking caffeine every day for years. Yeah, they get a little dependent on it, but it doesn't really affect their life. Okay. People drink alcohol every day. It's got a moderate, okay? It's got moderate. People can really control alcohol. It's something very, very controlled that you see people can do. Even morphine, people take morphine, and not everyone are morphine addicts, right? And that's got a high dependence potential. Like I was saying it's very easy to become dependent when you take it for 7 days. But think of all the people who have taken it because they broke their leg and they didn't, okay? Let's just say they hurt themselves. They got one shot of it, and that was it. Okay, high dosage. They're fine. That's high, and we're saying that this drug that is very low dependency and will never ever kill you is so bad. It's so awful. I'm sorry. I for the longest time I was like, oh my God, drugs are bad. Like, why would people do drugs? Why would people take acid? It's so bad for you. And then I started thinking about things objectively. And I started thinking, oh, well, why is it bad? Oh, well, let's do some research. Oh, Joe Rogan podcast, he talks about that. Oh, okay, he makes a strong point. But then again, I'm not just going to take Joe Rogan's argument for it. So let's do a little research. Oh, it shows that psilocybin can help with depression, can help with social anxiety. Not so much sure about LSD. I haven't done much research on that. But psilocybin mushrooms, very, very beneficial for a lot of people. And look how low that is. Very, very low compared to morphine, which is high. A lot of people have taken morphine. Both my parents have taken morphine. I'm sure I don't know, but I'm going to assume that sometime they've gone to the hospital, they've taken morphine. Yeah, right? I'm sure your parents have. I'm sure you have friends who have taken it. How many people do you know who are hooked on it? I mean, maybe a couple, but compared to the people who have taken it, I know it's very dependent, but you see, that is a high dependence potential. And yes, there's people who definitely get hooked on it, and I'm saying it is quite dangerous, but you see how strong the human mind is. And there's some people, or most people, don't, even though they're taking it for so long. Why the hell are these drugs that are very low and actually there's been medical studies shown that they're good for you and can help you with social anxiety, depression, things, etc., or just really open up your mind? Why are they being pushed as like these horrible things in the war on drugs? Doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's the conclusion I came up with in the last couple months. Okay? I was always such a proponent of don't do drugs, don't be a druggie, don't be this, don't be that. And I could have made the exact same argument with marijuana, but I don't like people. If you make that argument with marijuana, it's like, oh, you just want to be a pothead. But no, I've never smoked pot. I've never done psilocybin or LSD. But look at it, okay? Like I said, I was totally a consumer of that don't do drugs kind of propaganda, that basically is against weed, psychedelics, MDMA, obviously heroin, meth, cocaine, even kind of nicotine a little bit. I was very, very accepted that because that's what the adults told us. They say, you might have a couple drinks once in a while. And even some adults that are smart will say, oh yeah, you'll have a little bit of pot, but whatever. But don't get into the hard drugs. Don't get into the psychedelics. Don't get into the MDMA. And I don't know about MDMA a lot. I'm skeptical, right? Because I'm open to knowledge, but I don't know, right? I don't know. It's very, 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 very sketchy because you don't know if you're getting applies pure, but a pure supply applies to pure. But my thing is like, I feel very betrayed by the adults of society for saying, oh, no, it's bad. Oh, no, it's bad. Okay, look, heroin, I think the way they go about heroin and meth, especially meth, is smart. I don't think there is a lot of merit to heroin or meth, and both heroin or meth have their cousins, which is morphine and Adderall, which is, I don't know, I haven't really looked into that a lot, but don't do heroin or meth. That's pretty much standard. Don't do cocaine. You probably shouldn't do cocaine. Okay, that's bad. Drugs are bad. But my thing that just, it's like, oh my god, I've been fed such a string of bullshit, are the psychedelics. Why? I don't know. It actually makes me mad because I've been told, don't do these drugs. Don't do these drugs. They're so bad. You're going to ruin your life. Yeah, some people smoke a bit of pot. Everyone drinks, whatever. You do your caffeine. You can smoke, even though you shouldn't because it's bad for you. But, oh, what? You want to trip? You want to do these drugs and trip? Okay, well, look. Let's look at this. Like, I just don't understand why they were made illegal in the first place. I guess the big counter to the argument is that it opens people's minds up. It makes them a lot more intelligent. It makes them think as individuals, and the government doesn't want that. I don't know, but all I'm saying is it kind of pisses me off. It really does make me mad that I've been told this for so long, and no one ever said, oh, well, they're actually not that bad. Well, there were people, but I didn't believe them because I'd been fed this line of bullshit that we're fed by the government and adults and stuff that don't really know. It's like, oh, okay. Like I said, I'm an objective person. Look at things objectively. Heroin, you see that? That's bad. Psilocybin down here, LSD down there. What? It just doesn't make sense, is all I'm saying. I know I've been going on about that for a while. This podcast has basically totally been devoted to drugs, which, I mean, hey, I think drugs are interesting if you couldn't tell. I really, really do. And I think society should just be more open to them, is all I'm saying. Some, right? Some, because not all drugs are good. But my big thing is really, I think it's weird that psilocybin and those are illegal. Marijuana, on the other hand, I know why they're illegal, and it's this big propaganda thing about why Buddy didn't want to lose his paper mills because it was going to go to hemp, so he just made it all legal. Whatever. You've probably heard that before, and if you don't, you don't care. But I do think marijuana needs to be legalized. We may as well just finish all the way through to this on pot. We'll talk about weed because I don't like talking about weed because people just make the argument, oh, you're a stoner, bud. You just want to smoke pot. You just want to be lazy all day. Like I said, I've never smoked. I'm just an objective guy here thinking about things objectively, okay? I'm just a guy using my brain here. There it comes back here. All you have to do is look at this chart and you say, okay, if alcohol is illegal, nicotine, people take morphine all the time, even caffeine, all those are cool. Don't know about marijuana, man. People can get dependent on marijuana. Yes, people can get dependent on caffeine. They can get dependent on alcohol, morphine, all these drugs. That's really the big argument for marijuana. But that being said, I'm not going to say like marijuana is harmless because yes, the fact that marijuana can't kill you and you don't really get hung over from it, that's a negative side to it because it can lead you to do more. The reason why I don't drink is because I get hung over and I realize how bad it is for me. But you have weed that's really not that bad for you. I know it's not 100% good for you. Don't give me that string of bullshit either. Yes, you're taking in carcinogens when you breathe. Superheated air is bad for you when you breathe. So I think that sense, any drugs, bad for you. And the fact that, like I said, it just, all drugs have a negative and a downside. The thing with marijuana, yes, it's good for, well, it's not good for you, but it's a lot better than most drugs, right? It's really not that harmful, is that you may be likely to do it a lot. And I like that on this chart here, they have dependence potential is moderate to low. Because, yeah, it's not physically addictive, or chemically addictive, rather. But, you might get addicted. You might get into it because there is no downsides to it. And, you're bored and you want to smoke pot every day, right? There's those kind of people. But I think it should be legal. And here's my biggest argument. Because I've talked about this to people before who really aren't big pot smokers, like adults and stuff. And I say, okay, the whole that argument I just put there aside, think of this from an economic standpoint, okay? How much more money would we be taking in if we made pot legal? Okay, that's all we need to do. We don't need to care if there's these pot smoking hippies out there who don't want to do anything, because you're gonna find that with every single drug. Maybe not caffeine, but most drugs. You're gonna have your alcoholics, you're gonna have your morphine addicts, you're gonna have your cocaine addicts, you're gonna have your smokers, you're gonna have your heroin, you're gonna have all these people doing stuff that's crazy, and that's just a thing of society. Let's look at this from an economic standpoint, because if you have the potential to make money, we've really seen in the past that people don't give a fuck, okay? People don't care if it's gonna hurt people. Like cigarettes? Yeah, right? Exactly, right? So people don't care if it's going to make money. So let's just look at this economically, okay? Colorado, Washington, they legalized marijuana. They're doing so good. They're going to take in $100 million. Like what? They're making $100 million just off selling one drug that's been illegal for so long. I think that's pretty good, okay? So I live in Nova Scotia, and if you live in Canada, you may know the situation a little bit better. But basically, in Canada, we have a pretty good economy, a lot of resources. And the big one right now is everyone's going to Alberta, which is on the west coast. Everyone in Nova Scotia, in the Maritimes, which is Atlantic, they're all going out west because that's where all the jobs are right now, okay? You don't need to know about it, but that just understand that, right? So everyone's going out west because that's where the jobs are. They want to make money, of course. And there's not many jobs left in Nova Scotia because there's not a lot of resources in Nova Scotia. There's wood, there's a little bit of fishing, and then there's the normal capitalism jobs, like the normal businesses and government stuff, right? say capitalism like that's such a bad thing, but no, you know what I mean. Just normal stuff, but our big resources are like, we don't have a lot of big resources. Let's be honest here. I have made this argument before, and people don't really seem to agree with me, but I said, like, look, if they made, like, the where I live, it's a lot of old people, and old people really aren't open to the idea of legalizing marijuana. But I say it would be so good for the economy of Nova Scotia, or even all the Maritimes in this on the Atlantic Ocean here, because we really have shit. Like, we're just getting destroyed by out west, where they have all these resources, all these trades are happening, all this stuff. And if we were just to legalize marijuana, do you know how good that would be for our economy? Because everyone would be like, oh, pot's legal. I want to go live there. I want to go over there. I'm going to go just travel there, right? Just even tourists, right? Like who live in like Quebec even, or Ontario. They come over here because, oh, pot's legal. All right, well, let's go get some pot in Nova Scotia. That alone, to me, says, okay, Nova Scotia, or even if all of Canada did it. If all of Canada did it, I mean, how many people in America would be like who live on the border of like, you know, your Michigan, your you know, Maine, Massachusetts, all that, like New England area, all you people up there on the like Seattle, maybe already has it legal. Yeah, I think Seattle, Washington, so never. I don't know American geography, but all you guys on the north border, you'd all be going up to Canada, okay? Think of all that tourist, man. Think of all that tourist money, okay? I think that's the only argument we need, okay? That's my only argument towards pot is that's like the biggest reason I want it to be legal. I want Nova Scotians to legalize it, like the province/state. If you're American, you want to get that whatever. Why I want it legal in Nova Scotia is because I think it would boost our economy, okay? It would boost our economy. Yes, you know, people are going to smoke pot either way, so you may as well just legalize it. I don't care about all this hippie bullshit. I don't care. If you want to smoke pot, go ahead. Like I said, I've never smoked pot. I'm just not that interested. I don't think it's bad for you. I just personally, I just don't really care. Much more interested in other things, and I don't want to get dependent on it, to be quite honest with you, which sounds crazy, but that I just went on through that whole rant. But I just think it would be good for the economy. That's it, okay? Like I said, Nova Scotia's doing really awful right now. It would boost our like tourist attractions so much. People will be coming over here to do it. People just need to open up their minds and say, oh, well, you know, if you can drink, you should be able to smoke weed. You can smoke cigarettes. You should be able to smoke weed. If you can give people morphine for 7 days, they're fine. You should be able to smoke weed. So that's just my thing. I think it would boost our economy, even if all of Canada did it. I think that'd be good. I like the way, surprisingly, America is heading with it all. I think you guys are doing great. You, even California, you Washington and Colorado, right? And I was gonna say, I even like you, California people. I think you guys are doing it right. Which I mean, we have medical marijuana. Everywhere's in Canada has medical marijuana. But I just think that we should just say, fuck it, make it legal. Why not, right? Just a plant. Hate that argument too. Just a plant. It's natural. You know what else is natural, motherfucker? Bears. Bears will fuck you up, okay? Don't say it's natural. That's the worst argument I've ever heard in my life. Everything's natural, but I am in favor of it being legalized. So, wow. I just talked about drugs for an hour. Wow. Okay, well, now that you guys all think I'm a crazy drug addict, I guess we're going to have to end the show. Now, like, I just wanted to remind you, I've never smoked pot. I've never done psychedelics. On this chart that was up a while ago, I've done alcohol, I've done caffeine, I've smoked like twice in my life, and I didn't really like it all that much, but I guess I technically say I've done nicotine. Nitrous oxide, no. Mescaline, no. Ketamine, no. Ephedra, I don't think so. I know that comes in some pills, but I think I'm fine. Marijuana, no, although I've been around a lot of people that smoke it. I've never personally indulged, but I'm sure I have inhaled a THC particle at one point. Like I said, no psychedelics, no heroin, no morphine, no pentobarbital, no cocaine, no Rohypnol, no MDMA. So yeah, I'm not a druggie. I'm just a guy looking at things, very objectively. And when you look at things objectively, you realize, oh shit, we've been lied to, sons. Thank you for watching the Smith Squad podcast. That was an episode devoted entirely to drugs, which, as you can probably tell, I find quite interesting. I don't know what it is about me, but I think I'm going to probably end up pursuing a career in drugs. So maybe, these drugs will be legalized and I'll start a company selling marijuana, except people already do that. But we'll do something. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Big kiss. Big kisses from me to you. Big hug. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. We're going to end it there. Boom. Thank you for watching, sons. Talk to you later. Bye.